FYI, all of these books are rereads. Ayo, I do not have an intro because I haven't figured one out yet. But what I do have is another video because you're watching it, obviously. Thank you for that. So basically, this past weekend was the stay-at-home reading rush. It went from Thursday, April 16th through Sunday, April 19th. If you didn't know what was going on, you missed it. I'm sorry, but there's still the annual one that's like a week long, so you haven't missed that one. There were 4 prompts for this reading rush, and I tried to be an overachiever and picked a book for each prompt. So, we're gonna go over what I read for Reading Rush. I'm going to say each prompt and then what book I read for that prompt, and then give a brief summary and then go over what I liked and didn't like. So, let's get this party started. So, the first prompt was read a book with a house on the cover. Okay, so for this one, I read A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This book follows Connor, whose mother is dealing with cancer. And because of that, while she's doing her treatments, he kind of has to take care of things around the house. While he's dealing with that, he's also dealing with the fact that the people at school are treating him differently because his mom has cancer. So one night the monster shows up and explains to Connor that he will be telling him 3 stories, and then Connor must tell him a 4th story in return. So over the course of the book, we see the monster tell Connor these 3 stories, basically teach him that sometimes stories don't always go the way you think they're going to go. With the 4th story, the monster gets Connor to admit to a truth that Connor has kept buried deep inside. By the end of the book, we see Connor admit to this secret, to this truth that he's been hiding, and we see him make peace with it. It's just a very emotional experience, just the entire book. It's got this beautiful artwork in it. And oh my gosh, the artwork, guys, the artwork. I know it probably looks kind of creepy, but it's not a creepy book. I promise. The art is just very beautiful. I love it. I know it might seem creepy, but you know, don't judge a book by its cover. What were you saying? There we go. I'm going to talk about the things that I disliked first so we can get it out of the way. The only thing that kind of annoyed me was the fact that after each story the monster tells, Connor each time is very quick to judge the story and be like, oh, that was a horrible story, that was a cheat of a story, why would you tell me that? That doesn't have a good ending at all. You tell horrible stories, blah blah blah. I understand why he did it. Connor kind of has to ask the questions in order for the monster to give him some of his wisdom. And so through that we get some of the best quotes from the book. But it still kind of annoyed me because you would think that by the 3rd story at least, Connor would understand that
oh yeah, these stories aren't gonna be a happy ending. The princess marries the prince, everybody lives happily ever after.
Wouldn't be those kinds of stories, but he doesn't, and it just annoys me just the tiniest bit. Now on to what I liked, which was almost everything. The story was very good. It was very emotional and compelling. This was a reread, and it still held the same amount of emotion. It still brought forth the same amount of emotion from me as the first time I read it, which was like 3-4 years ago, somewhere around there. Still made me very sad. It still made me cry, which is good. But yeah, it's very good. It's one of my favorite books. Highly recommend you read it. Don't let the fact that it's sad turn you off from it, because it is such a great story, and I just highly recommend it. So the second prompt for Reading Rush was read a book in the same room the entire time. So for this prompt, I picked She Doesn't Burn in This One by Amanda Lovelace. This is a collection of poems about basically being a woman. They are very fiery, very passionate poems, and it's really short. A lot of the pages are like this, so there's not a lot on them, and they're relatively quick for me to read. On to the things I disliked, which wasn't a lot. What I disliked about this book was more of like a personal preference thing, as opposed to like anything really wrong with the book. There was just some language, so if you do pick this up, keep that in mind. On to the things I did like about this book. What I liked about this book was how passionate poems seemed to be. You could tell that the author really cared about what she was writing about, and the poems are very passionate, very fiery, pun intended. I really liked it. This is the second book in the Women Are Some Kind of Magic series. If you are looking to get into some poetry, I recommend this. The third prompt for Reading Rush was read a book that makes you smile. For this prompt, I picked Everyone's an Alien When You're an Alien Too by Johnny Sun. This book is about an alien who is given the assignment to go to Earth to collect information on humans. However, he is misinformed about what humans are, so instead of collecting the information about humans, he ends up collecting information about creatures and plants on planet Earth. The art in this is just so adorable. So there are things like this. The art is just like this the whole time. I think the art style is just very adorable, very playful, and I really enjoyed it. Let's talk about what I disliked. The only thing that kind of annoyed me was the fact that there's so many spelling errors, but it's intentional onto what I liked about the book. This book says such wise things in such a simplistic way, and it's so easy to digest. So one of the things is you have this turkey who is explaining sadness to our little alien dude. As he's explaining sadness, one of the things that he says is, "You may be sad because you're sad. It is okay to be sad. But if you're sad because happiness is fleeting, just remember that sadness is also fleeting too. When you are sad, it is okay to let yourself be sad. That is okay." It can be sad at moments, but the overall thing just makes me smile because of how adorable and how childlike and how wonderful this genuinely is. So I definitely recommend picking up a copy of this book and reading it. I think you'll really enjoy it. Okay, the fourth and final prompt. So, the fourth prompt is read a book set somewhere that you would like to go. I had a real difficult time trying to pick this one out. I picked Me Before You by Jojo Moyes because it's great, okay? Don't at me. This book follows our main character, Louisa Clark. She's just been laid off her job at this cafe that she's worked at for like 6 years, and now she doesn't know what to do next. Well, after going to the job center a bajillion times, a job opening pops up for a caretaker / companion for a disabled man. And so Louisa goes to the interview, she gets the job, and this is where we meet Will Traynor, who is an ex-businessman who was high on life, who loved doing daring and exciting things until he is in an accident that leaves him paralyzed from about mid-chest down. So he is stuck in a wheelchair, unable to do anything really for himself. So we see Louisa try to convince Will that even though he will never have the same life, he will never be the same man again, he can still live a good life with people who care about him. I know this book gets a lot of mixed reviews, but it's just really, really good. Things I disliked about this book. I didn't like Louisa's boyfriend, Patrick. He seemed kind of annoying. Not seemed, he was kind of annoying. And the most annoying thing was that when certain things happen, you can understand why he's frustrated and why he feels hurt, but it doesn't change the fact that he's annoying. I just don't like him. That's about it. There wasn't a lot that I didn't like. Let's talk about the things that I did like. Will Traynor, for one. He's hilarious, he's sarcastic. Louisa is quirky and adorable, and I love them together. I know that it deals with such a dark subject matter and a very controversial topic, but I think if you can look past that, you can see that it's really just a beautiful story about two people that end up falling in love, and then it's just tragically not meant to be. The first time I read this, I was 14 or 15, and I remember it made me sob, and it made me, like, I was really emotional after. But this time around, I'm older, obviously, so I understood more, and I had a better grasp on what was happening in the book. And there's one scene where Will is giving advice to Louisa about something that's happened in her past, and it just made me, I didn't cry, but I had an almost overwhelming urge to start crying. Like, I really wanted to cry. It's just, it makes me happy, it makes me sad, it makes me frustrated. I just really love it. The characters are great, the world is great. Oh yeah, it's set in England. I'd like to go there. That's why I picked it. Yeah. It's a really good book. If you happen to pick it up, then that's great. I don't know if I would recommend it to everyone, because I know that this probably isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I really loved it. It's one of my favorites, and yeah, that's it. That's everything that I read for the stay-at-home reading rush. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it, I guess. If you would like to, you can subscribe. I'm not going to force you, but it would be great if you did. Make sure you ring the little notification bell so you get notified when I upload new videos. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week. Yup, next week.